Hey guys, week 2, the month of February. Our main energetic signature, really, that we have going on this week is a Mercury Pluto conjunction that is building in the sky. This is likely to put an emphasis on like powerful ideas or information or conversations or encounters or interactions going on. This is a particularly important Pluto Mercury conjunction, though, because it's happening at the 29th degree of Capricorn. This is a critical degree, and this is also the last Pluto Mercury conjunction that we're going to have in the sign of Capricorn for the next 240 years. Okay, so the end of an era approaching this week, wrapping things up, maybe culminating some mental transformations on a collective level that have been playing out over the course of the past 20 years. This is some big business, and again, could really be lending an air of power or intensity or a transformative nature to a lot of what is going on in interpersonal dynamics and in terms of our mindset as well. On the other side of things today, we do have a Virgo moon going on. Virgo is, of course, ruled by Mercury, again, pointing to this Mercury-Pluto conjunction and this added layer and level of intensity in things generally right now. But the moon in Virgo is also going to be forming an opposition to Venus, a square to Mars, a trine and a sextile to the north and the south nodes. Whatever sort of difficulties or just irritations, things that might be bothering us or coming up today, it's for some sort of productive purpose that is like helping us to grow in one way or another because of the presence of the nodes. So that being said, you guys, we got lots of energy to talk about today, opening our week as we are moving through this energy. Let's get into the chart for today. Let's look at how this energy is coming together for us and what it might mean for us in our experience on the ground today. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we're also going to be looking at a collective tarot reading that I have done for the day as well, just so that we can tap the field for more than one modality, get a more well-rounded, holistic overview of what's happening for us, what's playing out on an energetic level. So we're going to do that as well. We're going to start with the astrology like we always start with the astrology. As you guys can see, I have a new setup going on here. We have moved upstairs. I had some random spontaneous home redesigns going on over this weekend with the full moon as it was playing out in the square to Uranus. Unexpectedly had a bunch of things shifting in my living space, and I'm actually pretty happy about it because hopefully this will be a more just like an easier and a more permanent location for me to do this. Where I was setting up and filming previously, I was having to like set everything up and then take it down when I was done every day, and it was just taking some additional time, and all of this stuff is going to stay where it's at. So all I have to do is sit down and record. So I'm looking forward to this new setup, and hopefully it works out good and you guys like it as well. So that's what's up with me in a totally different location today. We are recording upstairs now. Anyways, let's talk about the astrology. Speaking of switching things up, the vibe is switching up a little bit today. I feel like we're going for more of this like hyper stimulated Uranus energy with the full moon in Leo that was playing out over this past couple days. Made it had us really feeling just like very sort of whipped up or just like ungrounded or just like hyper stimulated, right? Well, now we are moving into, I mean, this energy is separating a little bit, but the emphasis today is more so, first of all, like I said in my intro, on this building Mercury Pluto conjunction that is really coloring a lot of the energy this week, but also with the moon in Virgo, this is activating the Mars Venus square that we simultaneously had going on it was exact during our full moon on Sunday. So this energy is really being amplified today as well. The moon is in Virgo, coming into an opposition with Venus in the sign of Pisces, and therefore a square with Mars in the sign of Gemini. Mars and Venus are moving apart in the square. Like I said, it was exact on Sunday, but the moon's presence in Virgo today is again sort of just like reactivating this energy a little bit. And with the moon also being in Virgo and Mars and Venus in the square, Mars and Venus in a square, it brings up tensions in relationship dynamics. It's like this need to get ahead, this need to assert ourselves, this need to do something up against like disrupting harmony or disturbing the peace in relationship context, or like inner peace, or just upsetting the balance of peace and harmony in relationships for one reason or another. And then when we have the moon in Virgo, this can also already be a bit of a critical and like judgmental and a bit more of like a nitpicky type of vibe. So relationship dynamics very much again kind of like on the table today, but really probably in the context of this hypercritical feeling or sensation or perception of what isn't working for us, and more specifically with the Venus Mars situation going on, who really isn't working for us at this point in time, or maybe just like any more period. People getting on our last nerve today. This could definitely be sort of a sensation of the vibe. Relational discord is kind of how I would describe this energy very specifically. Just kind of also emotionally bothered. I mean, because think about it, this, and it's happening from a couple different angles. For one, Mercury or the moon in the sign of Virgo, like I said, ruled by Mercury, Mercury coming to the conjunction with Pluto, like we've got to get to the bottom of something. Like we've got to figure something out. And at the 29th degree, like this is important. This is like the final piece of information that is holding us back perhaps from this massive transformation, or just finalizing a process that has been underway for a while in terms of like maybe like a mindset shift or how we're seeing things or something along those lines. But the moon in Virgo also just kind of like, so on an emotional level, we're sort of looking for the flaws or looking for the errors, but they're already presenting themselves because of the Venus square Mars situation, which is exposing these tensions in relationships. And with the Pluto Mercury, it's like maybe the hidden tensions of relationships, or the power struggles or the power dynamics that we haven't seen but have been playing sort of like a subliminal role behind the scenes in the way that things have been unfolding or triggering emotional responses or wounds or this, that, and the other with the Pluto influence as well. Ultimately, you guys, though, I can say whatever negative feelings are surfacing today, or whatever like is bothering us, actually in this specific energy is likely to be for a good purpose and helping us to remove a blockage, regenerate in some type of a way, or like come to the end of something, just like be done with it and ready to move on. That is generally across the board sort of a major energetic push right now, is this need to culminate a process to come to the end of something and to begin to move on. Throughout the course of this entire year, we're stepping out of our old selves and we're stepping into our new selves based on this rediscovery of these authentic truths that we're coming to align with on a lot more deep and real basis within us. And that's kind of recharacterizing and recreating and shifting our whole paradigm, right, as we are in this shift of ages right now. But just emotionally bothered generally today could be coming up in this energy, erratic or impulsive energy that is seeking to alleviate these tensions in relationships, or just like do something to like escape from something, or to end the struggle, or to end the issue, or to like put it to rest perhaps. Sticky interpersonal dynamics, like I said, just with this Virgo moon and the T-square between Venus and Mars, critical, nitpicky, perfectionistic, judgmental. We could very much be seeing the worst in people today and in situations as well, if they aren't aligning with our ideals, if they aren't aligning with our desires. It's interesting because we even have Venus today at 15 degrees of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is an officer drilling his men in a simulated attack. So we could just be more sort of like geared to be on the defensive in one way or another today. Like again, seeing the flaws and kind of more ready to respond, being more hypercritical about things. And also though, looking for solutions, looking how to solve problems. But with this energy, it's probably going to be more so through release and walking away. This is a mutable square. This is about endings, right? We also have the Pluto Mercury coming at the 29th degree, which is also about endings, which is also about transition and transformation and moving on, becoming to the very end of something, about to start something like brand new. We're coming to the very, very end of a specific type of mental energy that we've been relating with, and we are about to start relating to an entirely different mentalized vibe going forward throughout part of 2023, but specifically moving into 2024. Actually, February 5th of 2024, that is when the next Mercury Pluto conjunction will be, after the one that we have coming up in a couple days, and that will be at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So what's culminating now, the transformations happening now, the mind shifts and perspectives that we're coming to now are about to begin really ending, like closing the book, like getting to the end of the page in one type of way and like starting something brand new. And this is a process that's going to be unfolding this year into next year, but it also has to do with things that have been unfolding over the course of the past 20 years throughout Pluto's entire transit of the sign of Capricorn and each Mercury Pluto conjunction that has happened since Pluto and Mercury were at 0 degrees of Capricorn. So this entire past 2 decade span, essentially, we are finally learning the lesson that has been trying to come to us throughout this period of time. And the shift that it's having on our mindset will be very transformative, and it's going to, again, like bridge us into this new era. Of course, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. It's really also synonymous with a new age at this point in time too, because that is where this energy is going to be transitioning to, into the sign of Aquarius. So we're going to have a powerful dose of mentalized Aquarius energy coming at us throughout, after this period of time, throughout the rest of this year, but specifically heading into next year, 2024, when it will become like much more viable and just like saturated, I guess you could say, in our energetic field. But anyways, in this energy today, right, like it could just be kind of seeing the worst in things, especially also if they're not aligning to our ideals, right? Venus in the sign of Pisces, very romantic, very fantasy, very daydream, very idealistic. We want the best, like we want our bliss, like we want the spiritual connection, and the reality that is not coming into alignment with that today, we are like diagnosing the root issues with Mercury conjunct Pluto as well, and the impediments that have been limiting and controlling and holding up back our ability to reach and to achieve that heart-based feeling that we're sort of seeking when we have Venus in the sign of Pisces. So ultimately, I do feel like today is just likely to be maybe, like I said, people a bit emotionally bothered, more of a critical energy, but we are simmering down a bit compared to, and like toning things down a little bit, I think, compared to where we've been following that full moon energy. We do have the sun at 19 degrees of Aquarius today, a forest fire quenched. So the level of intensity, the level of heat, the electricity perhaps is coming down. The sun and Uranus are separating, Venus and Mars are separating, but what is being brought up today might just have us, like I said, maybe sort of seeing the glass as a bit half empty as opposed to half full, and kind of like seeing and experiencing the worst in people and maybe in ourselves too. This is another thing, like we don't want to be too hypercritical on ourselves and like really internalize this energy as well, because that's another way that this can sort of play out. So we don't want to allow it to kind of turn inwards on ourselves and like become like our own like worst critic today necessarily in this energy as well. This is a moon aspect, so this energy is going to move quickly. We will be out of this energy by tomorrow. So, we probably shouldn't internalize it. Like we probably shouldn't necessarily get too attached to the feelings or take them too seriously either in this energy. But like I said, because of the simultaneous aspects to the nodes, the North Node is in Taurus, the Moon is in Virgo. There's going to be a trine between the North Node and the Moon. There's going to be a sextile between the South Node and Scorpio and the Moon. So whatever is even bothering us, or the way that we're seeing people, or whatever is coming up in this energy, is also part of a process that is helping us to release ourselves and move away from something simultaneously to grow towards something else. So there is an element of growth and progress and productivity that is also wrapped up in whatever, like, I don't know, internalized irritation or just annoyedness or whatever that we may be experiencing today. Again, the second major thing today, this growing sense of intensity in terms of our mental state, our mental focus, what we're learning, what we're communicating, who we're talking to, what we're doing. All week long, this emphasis on this powerful and transformative information. Mercury now in the end of Capricorn, coming to that conjunction with Pluto at 29 degrees. This is the very last degree. The Sabian symbol of that degree also, a woman reading tea leaves. This is like what has been prophesized coming to pass, okay? This is like, the lesson plan that was set up having been completed. This is like the final exam in terms of the trajectory of growth mentally that we've gained through the past 20 years going through this transit. And the moon, again, in the sign of Virgo today, ruled by Mercury, is emphasizing this as well, bringing a much probably greater level of power and intensity to the emotions than we may usually be driven by when we have a Virgo moon. The Virgo moon is not, traditionally and necessarily the most like powerful and intense urges that are like compelling us to do things and just impacting us on like that deep emotional level, like maybe a Scorpio moon or something like that might be. But when the ruler of Virgo is in the conjunction to Pluto, this sort of changes the way that this moon is operating a little bit, and there could just be a need or an urgency or a sense of like obsession or compulsion even with like getting our point across in some type of a way, or communicating something or making something happen. People could be bossy and temperamental with this and just generally more difficult to deal with today, especially when we bring the Mars Venus dimension of it in as well. And like just complaining, like people could be just very judgmental, very, again, hypercritical, complaining about stuff, just having a bad attitude, negative, pessimistic, whatever. Power struggles could definitely be a thing today. Powerful, like I said, and intense conversations and encounters that perhaps have a very transformative effect, perhaps very purposeful as well, with the nodes also being activated. This is also, though, Pluto and Mercury, powerful and obsessive thoughts, secrets, corruption, abuses of power and authority and leadership, with it being in the sign of Capricorn. Issues with power and control. Generally, this is, again, secrets revealed. This is people talking. This is news and headlines for sure about secrets that have been going on within governments, within establishment, within leadership, behind closed doors as well, things being exposed. I feel like there's going to be a lot of like governmental exposure of abuses of power and corruption and stuff, like I said, or not even just that, but like within financial institutions as well, bosses, leadership, authority figures, the management sectors and classes of society where there has been a mismanagement of power. Okay, that is what people are going to be talking about. That's what people are going to be thinking about. That's what the news and the information and the headlines are going to be focused on when we have this going on. And again, this is a big one, you guys. Like, this could literally be dating back 20 years, or it could be like related to things that began to start happening 20 years ago, or it could be the end of a way of doing things that has persisted for the past 20 years. Like, this just is generally big business, okay, in terms of the way that what's coming to an end, what is being exposed, what is being seen in new light, regenerated, purified, purged, transformed. News, media, social media, information. This could have a lot to do also with like social media, like rules, regulation, control, limitation, a lot of stuff, a lot of talk about that type of stuff as well. It will be interesting to see how this unfolds, but definitely issues with power and control. Probably a very intense week that we have coming up. We may find ourselves hyper fixated on something as well. I keep getting these like hypers to describe the energy right now, like this hyper stimulated energy with all this Uranus and this full moon, and then this hypercritical energy with this Virgo moon today and the Venus Mars square. And then also, what did I just say? This hyper, what was the other word that I just said? Hyper fixated on something. Like, that's another aspect of this. We may be like obsessing or really just like trying to figure something out, like trying to get to the bottom of it, like incessantly like compelled, like diving down rabbit holes, or like looking under every rock, or going on like a research binge or something about something that, has been eluding us, or a mystery we're trying to solve, or something that we got to get to the bottom of, or something that's captured our attention and we're like hyper focused on, or a problem that's been plaguing us, or just something that we are it could be a person too, or a relationship dynamic, or any type of situation, trying to figure something out, solve a problem, solve a mystery, discover something at a deeper level, getting to the core, getting to the root, seeing behind the curtain. Exposure. I mean, Mercury and Pluto together, this is the penetrating mind. Like, there is no aspect that brings an ability to just like glean a super deep insight than we have when we have Pluto and Mercury together. It gives us x-ray vision into things. And when we're talking about this being the last degree, we're talking about wrapping up this cycle over the past 20 years. We're talking about it being Mercury too, media, social media, news, information, conversations, interpersonal dynamics, our mindsets, our thought processes, like the collective mental frequency and energy generally. This is mental transformations big time. These are changes that have been coming to fruition since, first of all, 12/29 of this year, December 29th, when Mercury stationed retrograde. That's another thing. This could also be like things that began to come up around the end of December, specifically December 29th, like I said, could be very relevant, could be back in the news again, could be on top of mind again. Now we have Mercury finally having gone direct, coming into the conjunction with Pluto. So what was playing out over this Mercury retrograde is also quite relevant in the context of this powerful information or something, profound mindset, something that could be hitting us at this point in time. But again, it could literally have to do with the past 20 years and like finally seeing the truth about something, or finally culminating a shift that has been underway since that point in time as well. Also with Mars and Gemini, now direct. Again, Gemini, the other sign that is ruled by Mercury, this mental shift that transforms our mindset also plays a very active role in moving us forward in alignment with like our personal passions and our willpower and our motivation and our courage and our strength. Whatever because of Mars's presence in the sign of Gemini and direct right now, whatever we're finding out, whatever we're discovering is not only empowering us on a mental level, but it's also like self-empowering us in terms of like our faith and confidence and belief and trust in ourselves to assert ourselves, to take a risk, to make a choice, to make a decision, to step out, to go in a new direction, to take action. With all planets direct right now, this is very supported by the universe. We're all essentially being like, there's like sort of a fire being lit within us. And it's likely to have a lot to do with whatever like we're aligning with on a mental level this week because of the relationship between Mercury and Mars right now, Mars being in the sign of Gemini and also Jupiter in the sign of Aries. It's like there's we are going to be fortunate in our actions if we are taking action, making choices, making decisions based on a level of self-empowerment that is coming through a mental transformation that is going on based on some powerful conclusions or some understandings or some conversations, something that we're learning, figuring out, whatever right now. This could be, like I said, this could be a very self-empowering week. Actually, this could be a very self-empowering process that we're going through. And it's not only the mindset shifts that are coming through this Mercury Pluto conjunction, like I said, culminating a 20-year process. But we are also going to be having Mercury shift into the sign of Aquarius this week as well. So shifting vibes on a mental level all the way around. We are likely to be seeing things, and specifically ourselves and other people, very differently by the end of the week. The moon also, as I've mentioned several times today, in the sign of Virgo, the trine and the sextile to the nodes of the moon, whatever may be bothering us, getting under our skin, irritating us today, is facilitating growth and release moving forward in alignment with this mindset shift and perspective that is also going on. Moon in the sign of Virgo, making these aspects, Mercury ruling Virgo and Capricorn coming into a conjunction with Pluto. It's about limitation as well. What self-limiting beliefs, what self-limiting thoughts or mindsets, Pluto, what toxic mindsets or mental attachments have been keeping us out of the truth of our power? Where has a lack of clarity become a burden on our soul that's been keeping us from seeing the truth of our power and actually creating a life for ourselves that is much more fulfilling and much more happy and a much greater reflection of like who we are and what we truly need to feel alive and to feel fulfilled and to feel like our life has a sense of purpose and just general like meaning and joy and happiness and abundance and like all of that good stuff. Like, where are we not seeing ourselves clearly? And as a result of that, holding ourselves back from being able to become who we've been meant to become. This is also, as I keep saying, I feel like I say this in every single video. You guys are probably sick to death of me saying it by now, but I can't possibly stop saying it. Like, we are in a process right now of activating destiny in this transition of ages, in this paradigm shift, considering it's the age of Aquarius, the age of self-knowledge, the age of self-mastery, the age of co-creation with God and universe, where we become the vessels of knowledge and wisdom and collective energy that we pour out to sustain the overall whole. It's each individual light illuminating the collective. We do that through an individual process of self-actualization that then extrapolates to the greater overall whole. And that is how this paradigm shift happens. It's one human, each human, one at a time, finding that light within them, igniting that spark, activating their destiny, and living their purpose. This elevates the vibration and the frequency of that individual. As a result of that, they are magnetizing and attracting into their life that which is a reflection, a mirror image on that elevated vibration. As a result of that, the life becomes much more fulfilling, much more abundant, and much more in alignment with unconditional love, because it's a reflection of a vibration that is coming from a place of self-actualization in alignment with true purpose, activating destiny, and authentic soul truth. We are in a process right now, you guys, of individually creating our own personal golden age, moving into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of self-mastery, the age of self-knowledge, the age of self-actualization. And that's just essentially how this whole process happens. So, we are actually actively creating the age of Aquarius, starting now over the next 2,000 years with our own individual conscious awakening, the great awakening. That's what that means. It's awakening to our own truth. It's awakening to our own potential. It's seeing ourselves through the reality of our potential and of our purpose, and not through the lens of the narrative and the collective ideas that we've been holding up until this point of time. And that is also what is on the table for transformation this week, with Mercury coming to the conjunction with Pluto for the last time in the sign of Capricorn before he makes his first conjunction next year, February 5th, 2024, with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. And that will really be when the age of Aquarius frequency on a mental level really starts to kick in, and we'll see a lot of big changes, you guys, a lot of changes in the way that things are done, because our thoughts have a lot to do with what we're thinking, has a lot, and how we're thinking has a lot to do with how we're acting and how we're behaving. So definitely probably some big changes collectively coming this year, heading into next year, when we have this big mindset shift that's coming. But we're getting a dose of it today, and we're definitely coming to the end of the paradigm of the past in terms of at least the thought systems of things and the way that this energy is coming together. And we also have Mars right now at 12 degrees of Gemini. That Sabian symbol is a slave girl demands the rights of her mistress. So all around, this is just like a breaking free Aquarius cycle. Uranus so in effect right now. That full moon square Uranus, that was really powerful. And that's really what it is. We are we're shattering our previous mental paradigms. That's what we'll say, you guys. That's how we will wrap this astrology up for today. So, if you find yourself being a bit hypercritical today, or feeling a little bit just generally bothered, don't worry about it. Don't internalize it. Don't take it to heart. Don't necessarily be too hard on anybody. This energy will pass, but pay attention to it, because it is trying to show us what isn't a match for us, okay? In one way or another. So that's what we have going on. Let's talk about the tarot now for a minute. We got some interesting cards coming out today. But I mean, it's pretty much saying the same thing. The first card that we had coming out of the deck is the Emperor, followed by the Ace of Swords in reverse, followed by the Two of Cups, followed by the Ten of Wands in reverse. And then on the back of the deck, we had the Page of Wands, and then after that, we actually had the Nine of Cups. So essentially, what this is saying to me, and I kind of already talked a little bit about it in the astrological interpretation, because it's kind of on board, I feel with the astrology today. But basically, with these two cards in reverse, like the Ace of Wands in reverse and the Ten of what, or the Ace of Swords in reverse, sorry, and the Ten of Wands in reverse, it's like, what faulty mindset do we need to set down? Do we need to surrender? Because it's been blocking us from coming into our place of power and like elevating our vibration and recognizing ourselves on such a level that we can attract better, more appropriate relationships, essentially, that fit us better into our lives right now. This is what this is talking about. Like, what have we been carrying mentally, right? With the Ace of Swords, like what mindset, what thought patterns, like what ideas about ourselves or about power or authority, sort of generally, or about our ability to like work towards our goals and make something happen, has been preventing us from being able to either recognize the internal nature of ourselves better, which then leads us to a greater state of self-empowerment, or recognize our own state of self-empowerment, which then leads us to an ability to attract new relationships that are a better reflection of that and that like honor that more. You know what I mean? So that this is really what this is talking about to me today. It's like sort of like talking about like coming to the end of a mindset. Like this is the Ace of Swords. So this is like, I mean, when it's upright, this is like a brand new idea. But when it's reversed, it's like, what stagnation mentally, or what like persisting idea do we need to release and surrender because it's weighing us down, it's holding us back from coming into the truth of our power, or for seeing ourselves for who we truly are, seeing the potential that we actually have to create what we really want in our lives, whether it be through this union with ourselves that allows us to attract and create from this place of self-empowerment, or coming to this place of self-empowerment that therefore helps us to attract these more appropriate relationships to our lives, like I said before. But again, the Ace of Swords in reverse, like to me, and the Ten of Wands in reverse, it's coming like, what mindset do we need to surrender, to lay down, to cease carrying forward, right? That has been blocking our view, that has been preventing us from being able to see either ourselves and our personal power or our relationship dynamics clearly. And then on the back of the deck, with it being the Page of Wands and the Nine of Cups, so that we can like actively and like creatively and inspiredly, with like this fresh energy, pursue our wish fulfillment, pursue our desires. The Page of Wands, this is like a very spirited, youthful, enthusiastic, like seize the day, like very creative, optimistic, hopeful, like anything is possible type of energy towards the Nine of Cups. This is classically the wish fulfillment card. This is hopes, wishes, and dreams coming into fruition. This is like all of these cups, you know, but it's more on like a personalized level. Like it's like our personal like dreams coming true, okay? So basically what this is saying is like, we're just at a point right now where there needs to be a shift in perspective. Like there needs to be a mindset shift, or we need to learn something, or we need to release something that we've been carrying that has been blocking us from standing in our power and getting what we want, essentially, or getting what it is that we truly deserve. And that mindset shift, like, look at this. We go from the Ten of Wands in reverse. Like once we lay these sticks down and we can see clearly, all of a sudden it's like a brand new day. And it's like we're like reinvigorated with like this youthful fervor of like, what can I do next? And like, what can I create? And it's like, I can create true wish fulfillment, which again, this process of self-actualization, right? This destiny activating energy, this discovering and moving down a path to fulfill our purpose, like that is always going to result in the 9 and the 10 of Cups, because that's just how this reality is set up. You know what I mean? Like when, not always necessarily, but I should say in the context of the current energetic tides that are bringing in the age of Aquarius, which is supportive of the process of personal activation of destiny. Aquarius rules that energy. It rules the future. It rules the activation of and the fulfillment of potential. For the purpose, also, I mean, the Aquarius energy. This is, where are we unique? Where are we individual? Where are we special? And how does that specific gift benefit the overall whole? When it's like where we go on, where we go one, where we go all, but in the concept of like, this is what I have, this is what I was born with, this is how I'm special, this is how I'm unique, and I'm going to cultivate this and I'm going to develop this, and then I'm going to serve, and it's going to benefit everybody. And when every person is doing that, you guys, that is what the age of Aquarius will look like. That is why the age of Aquarius, whereas the age of Pisces was a much more hierarchical approach from things, and it was like one spotlight shining down over all of the collective, the age of Aquarius is like all these little teeny lights illuminating individually, which causes this massive sense of illumination, like it's coming from within rather than coming down from an external source when we're dealing with the age of Aquarius. So that's what I have to say in terms of the tarot cards today, you guys. Let's grab one more card now. God, Spirit, Universe, Synchronicity card. Piece of advice, piece of guidance to navigate our day today. What would be good for us to keep in mind as we are starting this day? The card that comes out, it says, forget the past. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Give up your worldly beliefs and learn the truths of life. Feed your subconscious mind with life-giving patterns. Accept the positive aspects of God and let go of all the negativity. That might be what this is about today, too. Think about it. Like, Pluto is the sign, or is the planet associated with purging. This more hypercritical energy may be coming up today. Like, there may just be some things that we need to let go of that are coming to the surface in this energy. Forget the past, get on with the future. The nodes also being activated and facilitating this process today. In this way, your spirit will gradually grow and you will reach your goal. The Emperor, ruling plans, ruling goals. So that is one piece of advice. We also had another one flip over, so I'm going to read this one too. It says, dream and shout for joy, all ye who are upright in heart. Psalms 32:11. Your biggest joy will be in knowing that you have overcome setbacks and disappointments. Be persistent, believe in your dreams, and continue going forward. God does not give us a dream without also giving us a means to attain that dream. And that's reminding me also of this Page of Wands and the Nine of Cups energy that was coming out for us on the back of the deck. So that's what's going on. I mean, these messages right here, honestly, like very, very specifically in my interpretation are describing the tarot cards that came out today. This process of moving on, letting something go, shifting our mindset, shifting our perspective in a way that opens our eyes to something, right? That helps us to move in a forward direction towards our dreams, to be re-inspired in some type of a way. So that's what we have coming through in the synchronicity cards, message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. I hope there was something in there for you. If you guys did like it, please give me a thumbs up, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would like this type of astrology content too. Leave me comments, you guys. I really appreciate your comments. Thank you so much for being here. I love knowing how these energies are affecting you. Please let me know if anything crazy happened. Like during that full moon, that was like a big blast of energy. And just, you know, as we're moving through this week, I really like your feedback, and I love knowing how these energies are affecting you guys. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, on Instagram, and some other social media stuff in my description box below. If you are interested in any of that, I post a blog every day in the Facebook group where I actually do like a write-up of the astrology too. If you also like reading astrology, that is over there. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. It's going to be Wednesday. What do we have going on? Let's see. On Wednesday, nothing's too drastic. We're going to just have more. We've got the moon coming into an opposition with Neptune tomorrow. Mercury building into the conjunction with Pluto. So we will have more Mercury Pluto to talk about. And I'm sure it will be exciting. You guys, I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you then, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And until tomorrow, bye guys.